Greetings of the day to all of you. Today we are going to discuss operating characteristics of a TCR. So I will write here operating characteristics of a TCR. Now it is very important to understand the operating characteristics of a TCR before designing a TCR for reactive power control. Now in order to understand the operating characteristics of a TCR, we have to first of all understand the operating characteristics without voltage control, and then that will lay the foundation for understanding the characteristics of a TCR, and that will lead us to understand the operating characteristics with voltage control, because ultimately whenever a TCR is used, it is part of SVC and it is always used in a closed loop control system. It's never operated in open loop, it's always operated in closed loop, and it's used for voltage control. So first of all, we will understand, or we will study, operating characteristics without voltage control. Operating characteristics without voltage control. Voltage control. Now, this is the circuit diagram of a TCR. This is inductance L. This is the SVC voltage. This is basically transmission bus voltage. We can also call it SVC voltage, because TCR is part of SVC. And let us call this current as SVC current, ISVC. Now, fundamental frequency equivalent circuit of this TCR will look like this. Again, this is SVC voltage, VSVC, and the equivalent circuit at fundamental frequency, which is also called fundamental frequency equivalent circuit, will look like this. This is BTCR, and this is the TCR current or SVC current, ISVC. So this is the fundamental frequency equivalent circuit. Fundamental frequency equivalent circuit of TCR. This by delay angle or firing angle control of TCR, we can make it to behave as a variable susceptance. We already know, we have studied that from the basics of TCR. We know in the very first lecture that I delivered on TCR, we have understood how a TCR acts as a variable susceptance by alpha control or delay angle control. So since it acts as a variable susceptance at the fundamental frequency, so this is the fundamental frequency equivalent circuit of TCR. So we can say that TCR acts as a variable susceptance. So it acts as a variable susceptance as a function of alpha, delay angle alpha. So the susceptance of TCR, BTCR, it is a function of alpha. We already know. By alpha control, when you control alpha from 90 degrees to 180 degrees, so you are able to change over a wide range the susceptance of TCR, and hence it acts as a variable susceptance, and therefore ISVC continuously smoothly varies, and hence the reactive power absorbed by TCR also varies. We can make it to vary. Now, if we assume that TCR alone is acting in SVC, there is no capacitor or TSC which is connected or which is operating, only TCR is operating in the system, then with TCR alone, I will write here, with TCR alone, BSVC, that's susceptance of static wire compensator, is exactly equal to TCR susceptance. Because capacitor bank we are not connecting, we are assuming that the thyristor switched capacitor or capacitor bank is disabled. So TCR alone is operating. So SVC susceptance is then exactly equal to TCR susceptance with TCR acting alone. So therefore, what is this TCR current or SVC current? Therefore, ISVC is equal to SVC voltage, VSVC, multiplied by susceptance, multiplied by JBSVC. Okay. So since SVC susceptance BSVC is exactly equal to TCR susceptance BTCR, so therefore we can write ISVC is equal to VSVC into JBTCR. Where what is this TCR susceptance? We already have its equation. It is Bmax times, it is equal to Bmax times 1 minus 2 by pi alpha minus sine 2 alpha by pi. Okay, and where we know that Bmax is equal to 1 by omega L. So therefore TCR susceptance, we have to substitute here, it's given by this equation. So that will give us, for a given delay angle or firing angle, that will give us how much current is flowing through this TCR, ISVC it will give. And knowing the ISVC, we will be able to find how much reactive power is being absorbed by TCR. Okay. Now as far as this TCR susceptance is considered, it is negative. Why it is negative? Because TCR absorbs reactive power. As TCR absorbs reactive power, Q. Okay. So this is some basic mathematics, we already know it. Now what about characteristics? What are the various operating characteristics without voltage control? Fundamentally, there are three operating characteristics of a TCR without voltage control. One is called VI characteristic, another is SVR susceptance versus TCR susceptance characteristic, and third is current characteristics. We will discuss them briefly one by one. So first is voltage current characteristics, VI characteristics of TCR for open loop or for without voltage control. So these VI characteristics will look like this. Let us assume along x-axis we plot SVC current or TCR current, ISVC, and along a y-axis we have SVC voltage, VSVC. Okay. The characteristics for different delay angles or different firing angles will be like this. This is, for example, for alpha equal to 90 degrees. This is for alpha equal to 120 degrees. This is for alpha equal to 140 degrees. Okay. This may be for alpha equal to 160 degrees, and this is for alpha equal to 180 degrees. Let us take a particular value of voltage, SVC voltage. Let us assume our SVC is operating, or our bus voltage is this much. This is our bus voltage. Corresponding to this bus voltage, you can see for alpha equal to 90 degrees, SVC current is maximum. Okay, so this is operating range. I will write here operating range of SVC for a particular SVC voltage. This is the operating range. You can see for this SVC voltage, if SVC, this is the SVC voltage, okay, for alpha equal to 90 degrees, the SVC or the TCR draws highest current. For alpha equal to 120 degrees, it intersects this characteristic here, the current drawn will be less. For alpha equal to 140 degrees, the current drawn will be still less. For alpha equal to 160 degrees, still less current is drawn. And for alpha equal to 180 degrees, no current is drawn by TCR, because for alpha equal to 180 degrees, no device fires, no SCR fires, and TCR remains in the off state, so it does not draw any current. So therefore, for alpha equal to 90 degrees, since current drawn for a given voltage VSC at alpha equal to 90 degrees is maximum, so we can say that the TCR absorbs maximum reactive power when it is operated at alpha equal to 90 degrees. Then as you increase alpha from 90 degrees to 180 degrees, the current drawn and hence the reactive power absorbed by TCR decreases almost linearly. For example, for alpha equal to 120 degrees, the current drawn by TCR is less. It is less than for alpha equal to 90 degrees. So therefore, the reactive power absorbed by TCR also is less. Similarly, for alpha equal to 140 degrees, current is still less, so less reactive power absorption. For alpha equal to 160 degrees, the current drawn is again less. So therefore, the reactive power absorbed by TCR is less. It is lesser than all other delay angles till alpha reaches 180 degrees, at which no current flows and hence no reactive power is absorbed by TCR. So therefore, for alpha equal to 90 degrees, ISVC is maximum. So I will write here for alpha equal to 90 degrees, ISVC is maximum. So therefore, Q is equal to Q maximum. That means maximum reactive power will be absorbed by TCR. Its susceptance will be maximum. So its susceptance will be maximum. It will be dTCR maximum. It will have maximum susceptance at alpha equal to 90 degrees, and maximum current will flow, and maximum reactive power Q equal to Q max will be absorbed by TCR. And then as alpha increases, susceptance of TCR decreases, current drawn by TCR or ISVC decreases, and reactive power absorbed by TCR decreases till alpha is equal to 180 degrees, for which susceptance is 0. BTCR is 0, so current is 0 and no reactive power is absorbed by TCR. So this clearly shows that for a given voltage, bus voltage or SVC voltage, for different delay angles, the operating range of TCR can be very easily found. Okay, and we can very easily find that for different delay angles, how much reactive power is being absorbed by the TCR. Fine. So this is first type of characteristics, that is VI characteristics. Second type of operating characteristics without voltage control are SVC-TCR susceptance characteristics. So these characteristics will be like this. So for example, this is BTCR, TCR susceptance, and this is BSVC, SVC susceptance. And then the characteristic will be like this. This is alpha equal to 90 degrees, for which TCR susceptance is maximum, and SVC susceptance is also maximum, it is equal to BL. Then this is alpha equal to 100 degrees, alpha equal to 110 degrees, okay, alpha equal to 120 degrees, alpha equal to 140 degrees, alpha equal to 160 degrees, and this is here alpha equal to 180 degrees. If only TCR is connected to an SVC, then SVC susceptance will be exactly equal to TCR susceptance, as you can see, because for alpha equal to 90 degrees, whatever is the susceptance of TCR, same is the susceptance of SVC. So BSVC is exactly equal to BTCR and it is equal to BL. And then as you increase the delay angle from 90 degrees towards 180 degrees, you can very clearly see that TCR susceptance decreases, and hence SVC susceptance also decreases till you reach alpha equal to 180 degrees, for which TCR susceptance and hence SVC susceptance becomes equal to 0. If only TCR is connected in the SVC. And another thing is that you can see here that TCR susceptance I am showing negative. This is the TCR susceptance negative. And hence SVC susceptance also becomes negative if only TCR is connected, if no capacitor bank is connected. It is because of the fact that since TCR absorbs the reactive power, it does not generate reactive power. Hence its susceptance is treated as negative. So this is SVC susceptance versus TCR susceptance characteristics if we assume that only TCR is connected in the system. If we don't consider the susceptance of the capacitor bank, we assume that capacitor bank is disabled, and hence you can very clearly see that for different delay angles 90 to 180 degrees, SVC susceptance linearly varies as TCR susceptance. It's directly proportional to TCR susceptance. Right. The third type of operating characteristics without voltage control are called, they are current characteristics. There is not much to be discussed here. Current characteristics. Actually, if you see in an SVC, we don't have a single TCR. A number of TCRs are connected in parallel like this. We call them TSRs. Some of them are TSRs, thyristor switch reactors. They are connected like this. This is one TCR, or this is then TSR, looks like TCR, and then you have a large number of, depending upon how much reactive power is to be consumed by the TCR, you have a number of TCRs connected like this. If this is the total current ITCR, IT, then this will be IT1, this will be IT2, this will be so on up to ITN, depending upon how many TCRs are connected in parallel, how many branches are there. We would like to know the branch currents as a function of the total SVC current. If this is the total SVC current, I would like to know how much is the branch current drawn by this TCR, that's IT1. Similarly, I would like to know what are the other branch currents, what is IT2, what is IT3, so on up to what is ITN. Why do we want to find these branch currents? Because of two reasons. Number one, if you know the branch currents, you will be very easily be able to know how much reactive power is being absorbed for a given delay angle by each branch, by each TCR. And secondly, if you know these branch currents, you can very easily find the current ratings of these SCRs, thyristors. Okay, so each TCR or TSR has a bidirectional switch comprising of anti-parallel connected pair of thyristors or SCRs, and you have to find the current rating of these thyristor pairs or these thyristors. That will be possible only if you know what are the branch currents. If you know IT1, if you know IT2, and so on, you will be able to find the current ratings of these SCRs or current ratings of these components. Not only SCRs, but also the current rating of the inductors which are connected in series. Okay, because you have to design these reactors or inductors for a certain amount of current rating. So therefore, these current characteristics are drawn in order to know the branch currents as a function of total SVC current, in order to find the ratings of current ratings of the components like SCRs and the reactors or inductors. So that is about current characteristics. So that's all about operating characteristics of a TCR without voltage control. So without voltage control, for different delay angles, we must know VI characteristics, and hence for a particular value of SVC voltage, for different delay angles, we can find the operating range of SVC or TCR. And then TCR susceptance versus SVC susceptance, that can also, those characteristics also we have studied. With TCR acting alone, we have found that SVC susceptance is exactly equal to TCR susceptance. And then third characteristic is current characteristics. The purpose of having these current characteristics is to find the branch currents in order to know the current ratings of the components. Okay, so that is about operating characteristics without voltage control. Now after this, we will study operating characteristics with voltage control. That's important, and that is the actual operation. Operating characteristics with voltage control. Voltage control. TCR or SVC is never used, without voltage control. It's always used with voltage control, because one of the main functions of SVC is to maintain a transmission line voltage or transmission bus voltage constant. So therefore, TCR, which is a part of SVC, it has to operate in the closed loop, and it has to ensure voltage control at a particular transmission bus. So the schematic diagram for voltage control is something like this. For example, this is your TCR. TCR acting as a variable susceptance, VTCR, right? So this is SVC voltage, VSVC, and this is SVC current, ISVC. Okay, assuming that only TCR is connected, then for control purposes, we are connecting a potential transformer PT, which senses the voltage, okay, and then steps it down to safe values, compares this voltage, bus voltage, with the reference voltage VREF, and any error in the voltage EV is processed by PI controller and it is given to a controller. The controller will comprise of PI controller and also PWM operator, firing pulse generator, and the firing pulse generator will issue firing pulses to the devices or switches of TCR, so at a delay angle or firing angle of alpha. Okay, how this alpha is chosen by controller depends upon the reference voltage. So what is the operation like? The sensed bus voltage is compared with the reference bus voltage. We want this bus voltage to be equal to some reference voltage, VREF. Now, if bus voltage has dropped because of certain reasons, because of reactive power, drawn by the load, this V has become less than VREF. So an error EV will be produced, which is VREF minus V, and that error, after being processed by a PI controller, is given to a firing pulse generator, and this firing pulse generator generates the firing pulses for the devices of TCR at a desired delay angle alpha, so that a desired amount of TCR current ISVC is drawn by the TCR, and it absorbs the required amount of reactive power in order to maintain the bus voltage constant and in order to make this V equal to VREF. That is the purpose. This is how a TCR is operated in closed loop for voltage control. Okay, this will be very much clear if we try to understand it with the help of characteristics. So let me draw the characteristics. So these are the characteristics. This is SVC voltage ISVC, and this is SVC current. This is VSVC and this is SVC current ISVC absorption. It's called ISVC absorption. I will explain it why is it called ISVC absorption. Okay, so let me take it a bit here. So this is ISVC absorption, and if current is negative, then it is called ISVC production. ISVC production. Okay. Now the aim is to make this transmission bus voltage equal to VREF. This is reference voltage. Aim is to make transmission bus voltage, which is V, equal to VREF. Okay, and maintain it constant like this. Maintain it constant. Okay, let me draw it. Aim is to make it constant. Let me first of all draw the characteristics, then it will be easy for me to explain. This from here to here, this is called production control range. I will write here production control range, or this is simply called control range also. Okay, and from this point to this point, this characteristic is called, or this range is called overload range. Overload range, right? This represents absorption limit. I will write here absorption limit, right? And this is the current limit. This is current limit. Okay, we'll be able to understand it. Let me first of all complete the characteristics. I will draw the graph first, then I will explain it. This is called system 1. System 1. This is point B. This is system 2. And this is current limit. point C, and this is system 3. This is called system 3. Now, aim is to keep SVC voltage, or this bus voltage, equal to Vref. V is actual bus voltage. It may not be equal to Vref. Aim is to make this V equal to Vref. Right? Now let us assume that there is a leading power factor load on the transmission system, on the system. Leading power factor load means a capacitive type of load which is not absorbing reactive power, but it is generating reactive power and injecting that reactive power onto the bus. And we already know that with lagging power factor currents, there is voltage drop across the transmission line reactance and the bus voltage decreases. But with leading power factor currents, leading wires, the voltage drop is negative. That means instead of voltage drop, there is voltage rise, and the transmission bus voltage increases. It becomes more than rated voltage. I repeat, if the load draws lagging wires, that means load power factor is lagging. It draws a lagging reactive power, or lagging wires. It draws the reactive power. That is, lagging wires are flowing over the line. Then there is voltage drop across the transmission line reactance and the bus voltage decreases. On the other hand, if the load is operating at a leading power factor, it is drawing the leading power factor current, or it is drawing the leading wires. In other words, it is generating the reactive power and injecting that reactive power onto the transmission system, and there will be excess reactive power on the transmission system, and that will result in negative voltage drop across the transmission line reactance, and voltage of the bus will increase. It will be more than the rated voltage. So therefore we assume that initially there are leading wires flowing on the transmission line because of the leading power factor load. So there is excess leading reactive power on the line. Because of excess leading reactive power on the line, you can see, so for example here, what is the bus voltage? Bus voltage is not equal to Vref, it is greater than Vref, because there is excess leading wires which are flowing on the line, excess leading reactive power which is there on the line, and because of this excess leading wires, the transmission bus voltage is greater than reference voltage. So therefore, what will your controller do? In order to make V equal to Vref, it will adjust the delay angle here in such a way that the excess reactive power leading wires which are flowing on the line and which are making V greater than Vref, those excess reactive power or those excess leading wires are absorbed by TCR. So therefore, what will happen to alpha? Alpha will decrease. It will become around 90 degrees. It will decrease. Initially, for example, if it was 120 degrees, now it may become somewhere, say, for example, 100 degrees. So it will decrease alpha. When it decreases alpha, we know that with decreasing alpha, TCR susceptance increases. And when TCR susceptance increases, current drawn by TCR ISVC increases, and that means the reactive power absorbed by the TCR will increase. So this ISVC will increase and this TCR will absorb more reactive power. So whatever is the excess reactive power, leading wires on the transmission line, those will be absorbed by the TCR in such a way that this V becomes equal to Vref as shown by this point A, operating point A. Now if TCR absorbs a reactive power which is more than the reactive power leading wires on the line, then the voltage will drop. Okay, so it does not have to absorb more reactive power. It has to absorb only that much of reactive power which is there on the line because of the leading power factor loads, excess reactive power which is there on the line or leading wires. So only those leading wires it has to absorb, so that the transmission bus voltage is not greater than Vref. It becomes equal to Vref and operating point is A. This is for, say, for example, we call this system 1. So therefore for system 1, in order to make V equal to Vref, the operating point is A. On the other hand, if now we can see here the current drawn is this much. This is ISVC, and then it moves in this direction, and here if the current drawn here is this much, ISVC, the current drawn at the operating point is this much, and it is greater than this current. because the controller adjusts the alpha in such a way. For example, it drops it from 120 degrees to 100 degrees, so that TCR susceptance increases, ISVC increases, Q increases, absorbed reactive power increases, so ISVC has to increase. So you can very clearly see it increases from this value to this value. So your TCR draws more current, it absorbs more reactive power in such a way that V is equal to Vref and operating point is A. Now if our system is this, system 2, here also because of leading wires the reactive power, excess reactive power will be there, and V will be greater than Vref, and then again what will your controller do? It will adjust the delay angle, it will decrease delay angle so that TCR susceptance increases, ISVC increases. You can see ISVC increases, and at operating point B, V is equal to Vref, and how much is the current? Current is this, and it is greater than this current. So it absorbs more reactive power, and this may happen, this will continue till you reach this operating point C. At operating point C, the current drawn by TCR is maximum. This is the current drawn by TCR, and this point is corresponding to alpha equal to 90 degrees. Okay, and we know that at alpha equal to 90 degrees, TCR current is maximum, and maximum reactive power is absorbed by TCR. Depending upon what is the rating of TCR, at alpha equal to 90 degrees, it will draw maximum TCR current as shown by this operating point, and hence it will make the bus voltage exactly equal to Vref. But the problem is that if there are still excess leading wires on the line, then what will TCR do? Then you cannot make alpha less than 90 degrees. Alpha equal to 90 degrees is minimum delay angle at which you can operate at TCR. Okay, so you have to maintain it at alpha equal to 90 degrees, but the current drawn by TCR can increase, and it will not allow voltage to rise sharply. Voltage will rise, it will become greater than Vref, but in a limited way, because what is happening, the current is increasing and your TCR is operating in overload range. But the question is how much you can overload a TCR. You cannot overload it very large because the thyristors will get damaged. The inductor may also get burnt, may get damaged. So therefore, once it reaches the limit of the overload range, then in this system you have to use a current limit control, which will not allow current to increase further. SVC or TCR current, it will not allow to increase further. So that means even if there are leading wires, so current will not increase. So because of leading wires, the voltage will spike, voltage will increase. The bus voltage will be, it may be greater than V reference because of excess reactive power, leading reactive power or leading wires on the system. However, whenever you design your system, for example, you design your TCR, you have to design it in such a way. First of all, you have to do the load survey. You have to study how much will be the maximum leading wires on your system, and accordingly you design the rating of your TCR. Your TCR may be 100 MVA, it may be 200 MVA, it may be 300 MVA, depending upon what is the maximum reactive power it has to absorb. And accordingly, even if you have to operate your TCR at alpha equal to 90 degrees, when it draws maximum current and absorbs maximum reactive power, it will ensure that V always is maintained over this entire range. V is maintained at V reference by way of absorption of desired amount of reactive power, and then it does not need to go into the overload operation, or it does not need this current limit control. Okay, this is it. Now on the other hand, if you have for example, if on the other hand the load is operating at lagging power factor, not leading power factor, that means it is drawing reactive power, and because of drawing of reactive power in the transmission line reactance, there is voltage drop and bus voltage will be less than Vref. At that time, what will your TCR do? You have to switch off your TCR, you have to disconnect it. That means you have to operate it at alpha equal to 180 degrees, or you have to withdraw all the firing pulses from the thyristor devices of the TCR, or you have to operate it at alpha equal to 180 degrees, for which susceptance becomes equal to 0 and current ITCR becomes equal to 0, and it does not absorb any reactive power. It does not need to absorb reactive power because your load is already absorbing reactive power. Now there is positive reactive or lagging wires are flowing on the line, and that are making those lagging wires are making V less than Vref. So to compensate for those lagging wires, you need to connect a capacitor bank which will inject the reactive power required by the load, or it will compensate for the reactive power demand of the load, and it will make V equal to Vref. Okay, so in that case, your TCR, you may not require TCR to absorb any reactive power. Okay, so in that case, your SVC has to produce negative, it has to draw negative current. Negative current means instead of absorbing the reactive power, it has to generate the reactive power, which cannot be done by the TCR, which will be done by TSC or capacitor bank, and it will generate the reactive power, inject that into the transmission bus, and make V equal to Vref. So this explains operating characteristic of TCR with voltage control. Generally, a TCR is operated in this manner along with TSC. Okay, there is TCR, there is TSC. If the load is drawing the reactive power, load power factor is lagging, it is drawing reactive power, then capacitor bank or TSC generates the reactive power, injects that into the transmission line, and if that reactive power is more than the reactive power required by the load, a part of that reactive power will be absorbed by TCR in such a way that V is always maintained equal to Vref along this line. Okay, so this explains operating characteristics of a TCR with voltage control, and practically TCR, which is a part of SVC, is always controlled, or it is always operated with voltage control in a closed loop control manner. It's never operated in open loop. However, you must know, when you design a TCR, you must know about its operating range, voltage versus current characteristics. What is the maximum current at a particular delay angle it draws? What is the maximum reactive power it can absorb? So that is a part of design process. But once the design is complete, then when you have to connect it into the system as a part of SVC, then you have to operate it in the closed loop for voltage control system, for voltage control purposes. So that is all about thyristor controlled reactor, its operating characteristics without voltage control and with voltage control. Finally, a small talk on thyristor switched reactor. Thyristor switched reactor, TSR. I have been discussing with you over last three lectures about thyristor controlled reactor, TCR. Today I am going to discuss with you about thyristor switched reactor, TSR. TSR has same configuration as TCR. It comprises of two anti-parallel connected SCRs which act as a bidirectional switch in series with a linear air core reactor of inductance L. So therefore, if this is V, this will be I, right? This may be thyristor T1, this may be thyristor T2. So the configuration of TSR, thyristor switched reactor, is exactly same as that of thyristor controlled reactor, TCR. But operating principle is different. A thyristor switched reactor, TSR, unlike a TCR, does not work on continuous delay angle control. So it does not need continuous delay angle control or continuous alpha control. For example, in TCR, we continuously do the alpha control. For example, alpha is changed from 90 degrees to 180 degrees depending upon how much reactive power is to be absorbed by TCR. So there is continuous delay angle control, and hence continuous, smooth this current variation is there, and smooth reactive power absorption, continuous reactive power absorption in a controlled manner is there. On the other hand, thyristor switched reactor does not need continuous alpha control. Rather, what it does, it operates either as a fully on switch or as a fully off switch. Okay, so TSR, unlike TCR, is either fully on. When we say it is fully on, that alpha is at 90 degrees, or it is fully off. Fully off means alpha is equal to 180 degrees. Because, we have studied in the characteristics of TCR, we already know if this is the TCR voltage, okay, or Vs For alpha equal to 90, this alpha equal to 90 degrees, the current is continuous like this. This is I TCR. And for alpha equal to 90, this is 180 degrees. For alpha equal to 90 degrees, the current drawn by TCR is maximum. So at that time, it is fully on. So you can see current is sinusoidal and it is continuous and current is maximum. I TCR is equal to I max. So when it is operated at alpha equal to 90 degrees, that means in the positive half cycle, thyristor T1 is triggered at alpha equal to 90 degrees, and in the negative half cycle, thyristor T2 is triggered at 180 plus 90 means 270 degrees. 270 degrees. Thyristor T2 is triggered at 270 degrees. And then in subsequent cycles, again at peaks of the voltages T1 and T2 are triggered, then current is sinusoidal, continuous, and it is maximum. And at that time we say that thyristor switched reactor TSR is fully on. This switch acts as a closed switch and maximum current is drawn by the TCR. And it absorbs the maximum reactive power. And then we do not control delay angle. Alpha is not controlled. In order to turn it off, either your control circuit will withdraw the firing pulses from the two thyristors, or it will change alpha from 90 degrees to 180 degrees. Because if alpha is 180 degrees, none of the devices will turn on, or both the devices T1 and T2 will be off, and it will act as an open switch, and as an open switch, it will not allow any current to flow, and then TSR will be fully off. So therefore, TSR has only two states, either fully on state, for which alpha is equal to 90 degrees, or fully off state, for which alpha is equal to 180 degrees. Okay. Now the question is, where do we need this TSR? Because you may require controlled control of reactive power. Generally, in SVC, controlled reactive power control is required, or for which case alpha control is required. But TSR has no alpha control. Either the switch is fully on when alpha is equal to 90 degrees, or it is fully off when alpha is equal to 0 degree. Then it means when it is fully on, it will absorb the maximum reactive power, and we cannot control the reactive power. Say for example, if the reactive power to be absorbed has to be varied, we cannot vary that through TSR, because TSR operates at only one delay angle, alpha equal to 90 degrees, and it absorbs only maximum reactive power. One value of reactive power absorption is there. It cannot change the reactive power absorbed, because alpha control is not exercised here. Now, where does it find its application? So it finds its application in TCR. I mean, this TSR is used along with TCR for controlled reactive power control. I will write here for controlled reactive power control. I will write for controlled reactive power control. Part of reactive power is absorbed. Part of reactive power is absorbed by TCR, thyristor controlled reactor, by alpha control, delay angle control, and by TCR of rating Q by 2, within brackets I will write by alpha control, delay angle control, and part of reactive power is absorbed by TSR, okay, of rating. This also has a rating Q by 2. So what we do, we use a TCR, and along with TCR in parallel we use TSR, maybe one TSR and many TSRs. Say for example, if reactive power is 100 MVA, it has to be absorbed. Say for example, 80 MVAs, or say 50 MVA, megawars, 50 megawars of reactive power will be absorbed by TCR. So you have to adjust the delay angle of TCR in such a way that it absorbs 50% of reactive power. Other 50% of reactive power, 50 MVArs, that is absorbed by TSR, and there we don't have firing angle control. There delay angle is maintained at 90 degrees. So it is designed in such a way that when it is fully on at alpha equal to 90 degrees, it absorbs a reactive power of 50 megawatts. Okay, so therefore we have, for example, one TCR of reactive power rating or power rating Q by 2, and in parallel we have a TSR whose power rating is also Q by 2, and part of reactive power is absorbed by TCR by alpha control, and rest of the reactive power is absorbed by TSR. Okay, so the rule of thumb is that, thumb rule, I will write here, general rule or thumb rule is that, this is the thumb rule for Q greater than 50%. I mean, if reactive power to be absorbed is greater than 50%, okay, Q is 50% of reactive power is absorbed by TSR and rest by TCR. I mean, if Q is greater than 50%, it has to be absorbed in order to maintain bus voltage equal to Vref constant. We don't use TCR alone, we use TCR in parallel with TSR. Then 50%, say for example, Q is equal to 70%. Out of this 70%, 50% of reactive power is absorbed by TSR, and remaining 20% will be absorbed by TCR by delay angle control. When I say 50% reactive power is absorbed by TSR, that means TSR is operating at alpha equal to 90 degrees. It is fully on. Okay, and maximum current is flowing through it, which is sinusoidal current, maximum current, and it, at that particular current, it is absorbing 50% of reactive power for which it is designed, and remaining reactive power, say 20%, for example, in this case 20% of reactive power is then absorbed by TCR by delay angle control. You have to adjust the delay angle of TCR in such a way that remaining 20% is absorbed by this. Okay, on the other hand, if Q is less than 50%, then you don't need TSR. TSR will be there, but it will be completely off. Then all reactive power is absorbed by TCR. In that case, we don't need TSR operation. Okay, so therefore TCR and TSRs, they are connected in parallel. They are operated in parallel to each other, and this gives rise to what we call as segmented TCR, a concept called segmented TCR. Segmented TCR is basically operation of a single TCR in parallel with many TSRs. So practically it is like this. Segmented TCR is something like this. This is TCR, okay, and then we have many TSRs. This is TSR 1, then I have another TSR, TSR 2. So for example, I have another TSR, TSR 3. So say, let us assume we have 3 TSRs. If total current is IT, it is, total current, branch current is, total current, SVC current is IT, and this is the applied voltage. Then IT1 is the current in this branch, which is drawn by TCR. IT2 is the current drawn by TSR1, IT3 is the current drawn by TSR2, and IT4 is the current drawn by TSR3. So therefore, total current is equal to IT1 plus IT2 plus IT3 plus IT4. And if there is one more, or there are more TSR, then plus so on. Okay, so this is called segmented TCR. Segmented TCR means a single TCR in parallel with a number of TSRs. Okay, and then if a certain amount of reactive power is to be absorbed, a part of 50% of reactive power, if Q is greater than 50%, 50% of reactive power will be absorbed by all these TSRs, and the remaining reactive power will be absorbed by TCR. The operational difference between TCR and these TSRs is that in this TCR, you'll continuously keep on changing delay angle. So there is delay angle control, alpha control. Whereas in these TSRs, there is no alpha control. Alpha is 90 degrees. They are fully on. They operate at only one delay angle, that is alpha equal to 90 degrees, corresponding to which all of them draw maximum sinusoidal current. Whereas this may draw non-sinusoidal current and smaller current than these TSRs. Okay. This is the operational difference. Now there is a question here. Question is, if this TCR can do the job alone, I mean, say for example 100 megawatts of reactive power is to be absorbed, 0 to 100 megawatts. Sometimes 10 megawatts have to be absorbed, sometimes 15 megawatts have to be absorbed, sometimes 35 megawatts have to be absorbed, depending upon what is the reactive power being absorbed by the load. What is the reactive power leading wires which are flowing on the system? How much reactive power is being injected by capacitor bank or thyristor switched capacitor onto the transmission system? Accordingly, sometimes your TCR may have to absorb 10 megawatts, sometimes 15, sometimes 35. In general, let us assume that TCR has to absorb a reactive power in the range 0 to 100 megawatts. Question is, can't we use a single TCR for doing this job? That would have been very easy for us. Answer is yes. I would have preferred only one TCR, and by alpha control, I would have made this TCR to absorb the desired amount of reactive power from 0 to 100 megawatts continuously in order to maintain V at V equal to Vref, voltage control. Desired amount of reactive power with continuous alpha control would have been absorbed by this TCR. But what I am doing, instead of using one TCR, I am using a TCR which can absorb, say for example, about 20 or 30 megawatts continuously, and remaining megawatts, say 70 megawatts, I am making remaining 70 or 60 or 50 megawatts to be absorbed by TSRs. Although this 0 to 100 megawatt reactive power absorption or control could have been done by a single TCR, but I am avoiding that. Instead of using a single TCR, I am using a TCR in parallel with many TSRs, giving rise to segmented TCR. So majority of the reactive power will be absorbed by TSRs, and remaining reactive power will be absorbed by TCR by alpha control. Question is, why do I do this? The answer to this question is because this segmented TCR or TSRs offer certain advantages over TCRs alone. So what are the advantages of segmented TCR? There are two main advantages. Number one, low harmonic content. Low harmonic content in current, and hence less requirement of harmonic filters. If I am using TCR alone, I am not using TSR, then you already know my current could have been, see, if this is the voltage, current could have been like something like this, highly distorted. And in that case, you already know we have lower order harmonics which have to be arrested, which have to be eliminated, and I need single tuned filters and some high pass filter which are very bulky and costly for suppressing the harmonics, because the current drawn by TCR is highly distorted, it is discontinuous and distorted. On the other hand, the current drawn by TSR is always sinusoidal, because if this is the voltage, TSR always operates at 90 degrees. T1 is fired here, T2 is fired here, and current will be like this. This is TCR current, It is not discontinuous, it is continuous and it is sinusoidal. So therefore, majority of this current IT is IT2 plus IT3 plus IT4, and these currents drawn by these TCRs are not discontinuous, they are continuous and they are sinusoidal. And the current drawn by this TCR will be non-sinusoidal. But the sum of these currents, IT2 plus IT3 plus IT4, is much larger than the discontinuous current drawn by this TCR. So therefore, the level of distortion in the current will be very, very less, and the requirement for harmonic filters will drastically reduce. So when the requirement of harmonic filters reduces, the size and cost of filters drastically reduces. So your TCR becomes less bulky and less costly. This is one advantage, one main advantage offered by TSRs over TCR. It is the main advantage offered by segmented TCR over a single TCR alone. Okay. Second advantage is less losses, less power losses. Segmented TCR has less power losses as compared to a single TCR, as compared to a single TCR of rating Q. If I am using a single TCR of rating Q, it will have more losses because in addition to fundamental component of current, since the current drawn by it is discontinuous, distorted, it will be drawing harmonic component of currents also, and harmonic components of currents will result in additional eddy current losses in the inductor cores. Okay, so the losses will be higher if a single TCR is used. But if segmented TCR is used, that means single TCR along with TSRs, since these TSRs draw sinusoidal currents, so the eddy current losses in the inductor cores in these TSRs will be drastically reduced. And since this current drawn by TCR is much less than these currents, some of these currents, so there will be eddy current losses because of this IT1 is discontinuous, it is rich in harmonics, but the eddy current losses will be much less than a single TCR alone. So therefore the losses will also, power losses will also reduce. So because of low harmonic content in the current and hence less requirement of harmonic filters, and because of low power losses in segmented TCR, generally TCR is not used alone in an SVC. In an SVC, we use segmented TCR, which comprises of a single TCR and a number of TSRs. So that's all about thyristor switch reactor and the concept of segmented TCR, and that's all about the discussions about thyristor controlled reactor. I summarize over the last 3 lectures I have been discussing with you thyristor controlled reactor. In the very first lecture on thyristor controlled reactor TCR, I discussed with you a single phase TCR configuration and its operating principle, and through mathematical analysis and through waveforms we proved that a TCR acts as a variable susceptance by delay angle control or firing angle control, and any amount of current can be, or controlled amount of current can be drawn by it, and it can control the it can continuously and smoothly control the reactive power absorbed. Then in yesterday's, or I mean previous lecture, lecture number 2, I discussed with you 3-phase 6-pulse TCR and 3-phase 12-pulse TCR. We came to know that a 3-phase TCR is generally delta connected because delta connected TCR does not percolate third and triplet harmonics in the line currents. And then 12-pulse TCR has further advantage over 6-pulse TCR because it does not, in addition to cancelling the triplet harmonics which are not there in the line currents, the 5th and 7th harmonic components of currents are also absent in the line currents. The most predominant harmonic component of current in the line currents is 11th, followed by 13th, then 17th, 19th, and so on. So therefore filtering requirements are less. A single high pass filter can be used. And second advantage of 12-pulse TCR is that it is more reliable. In the event of the fault or breakdown of one TCR, there is still other TCR which can operate at half of the reactive power rating or half of the power rating. And in today's lecture we discussed about operating characteristics of a TCR. First we discussed operating characteristics without voltage control like VI characteristics, SVR, TCR, susceptance characteristics, and current characteristics. And we came to know while discussing the VI characteristics, we can find for a given TCR voltage, we can, for different delay angles, we can find the operating range. And then we discussed operating characteristics with voltage control, and we came to know that by delay angle control, a TCR can absorb desired amount of reactive power in order to maintain the bus voltage constant. I tried to explain that with the help of the characteristics, and I hope that is clear to you. And finally, I introduced the concept of segmented TCR. TSR, thyristor switched reactor, is basically topologically it looks like a TCR, but it does not use continuous delay angle control, but it is either fully on, for which alpha is equal to 90 degrees, or fully off, for which alpha is equal to 180 degrees. And then instead of using a single TCR of a power rating Q, we use a TCR in parallel with a number of TSRs. And for Q greater than 50%, 50% of the power is handled by TSR and rest by TCR. And for Q less than 50%, all reactive power is handled by TCR alone. And the question is, why do we use segmented TCR? Why not a single TCR alone? It is because segmented TCR offers two main advantages over a single TCR. Number one, since TSRs, which are part of segmented TCR, they draw continuous sinusoidal currents. The total harmonic content in the current drawn by segmented TCR is much lower than that of a single TCR, and therefore this harmonic filter requirements reduce, which makes the system less bulky and less costly. And secondly, a segmented TCR has less power losses as compared to a single TCR of a given rating. So with this, we have come to end of a series of lectures on thyristor controlled reactor and segmented TCR, which is a very important part of SVC. In our next lecture, inshallah, we will discuss about thyristor switched capacitor, TSC, which is also a very important part of SVC. I request and I advise all of you to go through this lecture and other lectures and stay connected. All the best to all of you. Thank you.